This video is presented by the VATSIM Washington, D.C. ARTCC. It is not to be intended for use in any real-world aviation instruction. Welcome to an introduction to flight progress strips. Flight progress strips are not mandatory for controllers to use, however they offer another way to keep up with your traffic and stay up to date with all your aircraft movements. Let's begin by learning how to open the flight strip bay in VRC. To do this, go to Tools and click on the flight strip bay. Depending on your settings, your flight strip bay may only be one column. If you would like to make it 2 columns, as well as customize setting for your flight strips, go to Settings, General, Flight Strips. Here are multiple different settings you can customize for your flight strips and the bay itself. A 2-column flight strip bay makes your flight strip bay have 2 columns rather than 1. Auto add arrival and departure strips will add a strip into your bay when an aircraft enters or leaves your airspace. Add strip when initiating track will add a strip into your bay when you start a track on an aircraft. Add strip when accepting handoff places a flight strip in your bay when you accept a handoff from another controller. Push strip when handing off aircraft will remove the flight strip from your bay when you initiate a handoff to a controller. You can also change this to be when the controller accepts the handoff. Delete strip when controller accepts handoff deletes the strip rather than pushes it to the next controller when he or she accepts the handoff. Delete strip when pushed manually will remove the strip if you opt to push it to another controller. This can be done by right-clicking and then selecting the push strip and then selecting on the controller you would like to push it to. Delete strip when dropping track. This will remove the strip from your bay when you drop a track on an aircraft. And finally, ignore push strips. This will not show strips that are pushed to you by other controllers. Now let's talk about the parts of a flight strip. There are 18 different boxes that come with every flight strip. Not all 18 are used for every single aircraft, but these are the amount available. These blocks include the aircraft call sign, aircraft type and equipment suffix, computer identification number or CID, number of aircraft, assigned squawk code, temporary altitude if issued, cruise altitude, departure airport, arrival airport, as well as an alternate arrival airport, and the large box is reserved for the route. In real-life flight strips, blocks 9A through 9C will be used for optional strip marking, such as pointouts, FRC clearances, and runway to expect. Blocks 10 through 18 can include rolling call confirmations, inbound confirmations, or the landing type of the aircraft, such as touch and go, full stop, or low approach. This is especially useful in the tower environment. These are examples of some of the flight strips that we use at Academy Airport. The first one is an IFR arrival strip. The second one is an IFR departure strip. And the last one is what a VFR strip looks like. This is a VATSIM flight strip. It may look a little different than other flight strips, but it has the same information. Now let's talk about flight strip bay organization. Separators are an addition to your flight strip bay that allow for more organization. To add a separator, type .scp space the name of the separator in VRC. These will have the same dimensions of a flight strip and can be moved around by left-clicking and dragging. They can be used to separate strips into categories based on what the aircraft is doing. For example, I have separators for aircraft who have clearance, taxiing aircraft, aircraft that are cleared for takeoff, and land. The type of separator can vary based on the position you are working, so try different methods and see which one works best for you. Now let's talk about strip scanning. I'm sure you've heard your mentor or instructor tell you to keep up your scan during a training session. Flight strips offer a different way of scanning traffic. This is called strip scanning, and it's a technique that I use at UND for our ATC training at Academy Airport. To do this, you want to select a strip, find the aircraft on your scope, and ask yourself if there's anything you can do with that aircraft. Once you're finished with that aircraft, move on to the next aircraft, and continue with all your flight strips. I hope this has been helpful for your understanding of flight strips. Remember that flight strips are not required for ZDC controllers and are just another tool at a controller's disposal. If you have any questions, bring them to a facility mentors or instructors for clarification. Thank you for being a part of the VATSIM Washington, D.C. ARTCC.